in the end of the day, in theory, the demo of all this surface altitude is the understuff will leave it, and then we're going to.
What's that?
Well, would the LVP underneath need to be glued down, right?
So we're out here just off of 99th Street in Edmonton. Pre-construction meetings done. We met with the group at 4 Elements. Brenda was here. Taylor came up from Calgary. We have full access to the space, got our keys this morning. So construction is going to start tomorrow. We're going to hit the ground running. We have a good idea of what things look like in terms of demolition. So we'll get that done first. Then we'll reconvene in terms of a design meeting to get an exact idea of some of the aesthetics and things like that. We'll give you a bit of a tour and kind of what the space looks like currently, what we're envisioning. So come on with us. So the space used to be a flooring company, and then before that, it was a Pilates center. So it actually has somewhat of a reception built out. We're going to change it quite a bit. So what we're going to try to do here is right when you come in, we're going to build drywall that's going to make a bit of a hallway with a wood feature wall. That's going to kind of funnel you right in from the entrance into this hallway where you'll have the waiting room here on your left, and then the reception desk will just be up here. And the athlete experience team will kind of just be facing the waiting room here. There'll be a wall that comes out from this window just to make the back wall behind the receptionist with the athlete experience rep. And then there'll be kind of a square opening that you go under with some LED in it just for a nice design piece where you walk right out into the performance space.
Big thing for us, non-negotiable, is we want to have a ton of space. We need to be able to have obviously lots of floor space for our movement, and that's a big priority for us. We don't want to have it cluttered with a whole bunch of things. So that was kind of the concept with this space. Very open concept with it. And the kind of central feature that we had in Calgary is just our turf coming down the center. And it's the exact same situation that we have this time around. It's going to be full custom turf, 65 feet by 10 feet wide. And then again, we have our white Speckle Classic rubber 8 mil that's going to be covering the rest of the space. As we start to transition through to this side of the building is where we're going to have our squat racks. That's going to be all the way down close to those stairs that come up into the mezzanine. And same thing, all custom squat racks as well. They should be arriving here in the next couple of weeks so that we can start to piece things together from a flooring perspective, equipment, etc. And then as we come down into the gym space, one of the unique concepts that we really wanted to do, and it's the same idea that we have with everything, is we're trying to take an athlete from start to finish. And so we want to have the blend of rehab and performance happening all of the time. So how we do that is a nice little touch is we're actually going to have the turf run through this wall that we're going to demo and open all the way up. We're going to close off some doors, and then in behind this wall is going to be our treatment space. So we're going to have the turf roll into the space as well. And through beyond this wall, you'll see that this is all going to be demoed and opened up. And then we're going to have all of our treatment beds here, nice little wood feature over the top. Our sports science corner, powered by Vald, obviously going to be in this corner. So you're going to have your force decks, your Nord board, your force frame, probably that new attachment. Everything is going to be in that corner as well. So again, just a fluid kind of flow that we have with our sessions where we might be on bed, we might do some testing, and then we might be going through some programming on the gym floor.
Okay, so coming upstairs to the second level. In Calgary, not as much usable space on our second level as it is here. They built this out really well. It has great bones. We're basically going to demo this entire space up here. We're going to try to shave some of the frosting off this so we get a nice kind of visual down into the performance center. So if you're walking through any hallways up here, or you're up into the recovery room where we're going to put it on the end, you can see what's happening kind of down on the gym floor. Couple offices up here. So we'll have an office for Brendan, who's our head of physiotherapy up here and director of rehab. We'll have another office for the ownership group whenever we come up and do any bit of work. And then we'll have a big staff room here where we'll have a sink, kitchen area, and some areas for charting and paperwork and programming for our staff. Coming down here on the end, this is going to be where we have the recovery zone for the athletes. So again, we're going to kind of just gut and demo a lot of this stuff. We'll have our leather reclining chairs. We'll have our Normatec boots, our massage guns, mats with foam rollers, trigger point balls, anything we need for the athlete pre and post session. A little bit harder to get up the stairs obviously to the recovery room in Calgary. It's right on the main level. So for our acute athletes, they just hit an ankle sprain, they just had a knee injury, the Game Ready device that we use for compression and cryotherapy, that's going to be found down in the treatment space where it's a little bit more usable for them and easier to access. But up here, a lot of the stuff that mid, end stage, and performance athletes can use to recover. Again, it's the heartbeat of our clinic in Calgary. We wanted a nice space up here in Edmonton as well. It's a massive culture builder for us. It's where a lot of athletes come, convene, have conversations. We feel like that's massive for our brand. We want a space that athletes are hesitant to leave. And we do find in Calgary, if they're working out from 5 to 6, they're often there till 6:30, 6:45, having some chats, meet some new friends. So important for us here as well, and really good bones to work with. And construction starts tomorrow.
What I think is really going to change for how athletes hopefully experience the new space is really I want them to feel like they're at home. I want them to feel like they have the ability to shape that space as we continue to grow it and mold it into the thing that we want it to be. That they get such a big role in being able to shape the culture within that facility. And most of all, I want athletes to want to be there. I want them to be able to come in, look forward to that as being part of their day, no matter what they're going through at that point in time, for it to be a bit of a safe place, a safe haven for them to come and know that they're going to be treated with a ton of empathy. We're going to crack some jokes. We're going to have an amazing time. And at the same time, they're going to make incredible progress during that time as well. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the outcomes that they're going to get. But I want to make sure that they're having fun doing it. And I really want to be able to provide that environment that we get to do that within. Really what I'm thinking about when we look to build out this new space is, first of all, the flow of the space. So when you walk in, having that ability to have someone that's going to greet you at the door and make sure that you're in the right place and make sure that you're going to have a good experience, that flow of getting into the waiting area. I want people to feel a little bit of energy when they come into the space as well. I don't want it to be this kind of dead, quiet zone. Walking in and being able to have a little bit of a picture of the gym and see what's going on in there, have an athlete experience member that's going to be up front and greeting them, and really getting that kind of sense of like walking in and being in a little bit of awe, being a little bit of shock at the space itself, I think is really what I want to be able to strive for that space to be. We want to have obviously a nice massive gym space where we can rehab our athletes. I'm someone that loves to go back and forth from the treatment area to the gym as well, and being able to flow through that I think is really critical for us with how we tend to operate. Being able to go from the table to the sports science area to the gym and being able to do that in a very kind of easy flowy way is going to be really critical for how we operate, and I think it really lends to that athlete's experience within the space as well. I'm really excited about the loft that we have in the new space too. It's such a small thing, but for some of the athletes that we have that are going to maybe hang out after their session or they're in the rehab membership and they're done their session, to be able to get them upstairs and get them in the recovery area. We're going to have some like beanbag chairs and whatnot down there so they can just hang out, and TVs on the walls. We can put sports up there. They get to see people in the gym too, and really just have this kind of collaborative environment that continues to build culture and continues to be like a bit of a safe space for the athletes to be in when they're going through potentially a really tough time. But again, brings this huge amount of energy to the table as well.
Archway, and then the one coming off the window, Brendo, I think we'll not slat it. We'll do something like some sort of wood feature like this. So we just finished a meeting with Peter and 4 Elements. Brendan FaceTimed me in. We were going over framing, drywall, engineering. As with anything, anytime you're doing construction, there's some different snags that kind of come up. So we have some work to do just in terms of rearranging some of where the HVAC and plumbing is. We got to move that downstairs and create a bit of a bulkhead just because it's on the flooring where the offices are going to go. So it's just going to eat up office space. So a little bit of reworking to do with that. We had to get the walls right in terms of how we're going to kind of corral anyone coming into the facility in through reception into the seating area towards the administration team. So we got the angles right on that, created our kind of accent LED tunnels that we're going to have coming out into the gym. Next piece was kind of figuring out how much room we want between where the racks are going to end and the turf. We don't want them to abut right up against the turf. Obviously, if somebody's running or doing accelerations or sled work, we don't want somebody backing in doing front squats or something like that. So at all our other facilities in Calgary, there's quite a bit of space in between where the turf starts and then the room that you would have in between where the racks kind of end. So just kind of getting those numbers right and things like that. We went upstairs, got the sizing for the recovery room, sizing for all the offices, the staff room, where we're going to kind of put the plumbing and the sink and kitchen area within the staff room. And then the biggest piece was engineering. So figuring out if we're going to do this opening and run the turf aesthetically right into where the open treatment beds are. There's some work that needs to be done just in regards to reinforcing the ceiling and the beams and stuff like that. So just figuring out what that looks like. The wider we go with the opening, the more robust beam that needs to be there, the higher the cost. So it's just trying to crunch those numbers, figure out the bandwidth of, how much do we actually need to go to land on the aesthetics that we want, where exactly that opening is going to go, how big it needs to be. The turf is about 10 feet wide. So we don't just want the turf squeezed through there. Aesthetically, that won't look good. So we want a foot on either side. So it's going to be 10 feet, 1 foot, 1 foot. So 12 feet in total for the opening. And just getting those little details. Demo's all done. Looks great, nice and open. Couple emails here to send off just in regards to getting the original drawings and some of the permits and stuff like that. Some decisions to be made just in regards to putting a T-bar ceiling on the staff rooms and the offices just for kind of mute the noise from the gym a little bit if we were going to do meetings and stuff. And other than that, things are coming along really, really well. So we'll get all these shut off this morning. We'll get some answers so that there's no delay for 4 elements and they can kind of keep cracking. And it's July 18th. August 1st, I'll be back out west. Brendan was there this morning, boots on the ground, just kind of relaying the vision, and I was there in support on FaceTime. So things are coming along well. We're still on track, and the hope is we don't run into any significant delays, which would be having to get big permits or having to completely rework engineering. Hopefully everything's on point with that, and we can just keep cruising.
I think the performance space is arguably one of the most important aspects of a physio clinic. And really our team, you'll find the physios on the floor often. So making sure that we have a really good space that they can flow into and deliver the outcome that we always try to achieve is very, very important for us. And then the performance side, balancing how do we get an individual that is healthy to train alongside a rehab athlete to create that high performance environment where really we talk about continuums, a plyometric continuum, a return to run continuum, but there's also a continuum in treatment. We go from the rehabbing athlete to a performance athlete. And I think that that's ultimately really, really important for us, but making sure that it's not disruptive. We want to have clear expectations and guidelines so that our performance athletes aren't putting our rehab athletes at jeopardy by flying down the turf in a max velo. That comes down to our organization within sessions. I think the biggest mistake people make when they're designing a clinic is, again, in that first question that I went through, it's a lack of understanding in how a session should flow. And I think traditionally physiotherapists can get in the mindset that a lot of the session needs to happen on the bed. And that's not always the case. I think there's a lot of great work that we can do from a rehab lens within a weight room facility, within a strength and conditioning space. So having the ability for that session to flow and not be cluttered with either too much equipment within the gym, not enough open floor space so that we can explore that movement, or just having a bad flow of the session so that the client can't really get the outcome that they need within that environment.
Hey guys, happy Wednesday. So we're here at 99th Street at the facility. We have a meeting this morning with 4 Elements and the electrician. We're going to go over just electrical placement throughout the facility, take a little look at where things are at with framing, go over some different things on flooring. Come along with us this morning. I'll give you some snapshots as to kind of where the facility is, and we'll meet with the guys, and then we'll head back up to Sherwood Park. So as you walk in the front door, to the left here, you're going to have kind of bench seating, and we'll have some merch All the walls in this facility are going to be painted black. We'll have a little bit of a separate kind of seating area with accent chairs and a coffee table, side table. Right here, we have a wall that's up. So we're gonna actually have a reception desk right here. And then behind it, we're gonna have a wood feature wall and kind of an LED ORKA logo. And then we have framed in to the right, just as you enter the front door here, this entire wall is going to be slat board. And then within it, we're gonna have a TV where we can kind of display our itineraries for our courses, any new services, and we'll be able to see it obviously from the waiting room as well. Coming into kind of this archway, we have it drop down to 8 feet, and we're gonna have an LED strip running through the archway for a bit of a unique feature. And then you're essentially gonna walk right out into the gym space. So we'll have all our racks along here, big ORKA logo up here. Lots of light coming in. On this side, we'll have our records wall. Back down here, we have lots of space to be able to put some of our machines, some of our cardio equipment. We'll have our ORKA quote on this wall here, but nice big open space. Turf is kind of run up the middle here, and fans for the athletes to keep it cool, and a really nice kind of unique feature that differs from our other facility in terms of how you enter the gym. So should be nice. Right now, we're working on this back piece. So from the gym, we're opening up this entire section into a big rectangle, and we're actually gonna run the turf right in to that area. And back there is gonna be where the treatment spaces are. So those treatment spaces are gonna be open to the gym. For right now, they're closed off as just we work through some engineering things. We have bathroom here. We have some storage. We just framed in this private room right here. So this would be private medical room, private treatment room. And then back along here, we're gonna have our wood features. We'll have our treatment beds. And then back here in the corner is gonna be our sports science area. Turning around, taking it upstairs. We got some offices framed in now. So we had office number 1, which is gonna kind of be a dual office, and then eventually maybe private treatment room or massage room. We got office number 2, which will be Brendo's room. We got our staff room framed in here. And then back here, we're gonna have our recovery room logo. And then this will be the recovery space, so TV. We'll have our recovery room chairs. And then this hallway that goes along the staff room and offices from the recovery room is gonna overlook that entire gym space.
What are we going to learn from our time in Sherwood Park and the space in Sherwood Park? You know, I think there's a couple really key things. Number one, I mean, acknowledging the fact that we didn't have the exact control over the design of the space. We had the clinic space, we had the sports science area, but the gym space, you know, wasn't really ours when it was laid out, and that was there pre-existing. So I think in hindsight, there's some really key ways that we're going to alter the design of the new space that we're going to be landing in on 99th Street, making it a little more open in the gym space, and really having even just simple things like squat racks along the sides instead of in the middle of the space to allow our athletes to better utilize the turf, better utilize sprinting and change of direction progressions in that way, I think is going to be really, really key. The way that it's laid out here, it's a little bit tougher for us to do that given how the squat racks are laid out. So little simple things like that I think can make a really big difference. For me, I'm a big fan of being able to flow from treatment into the gym as well. And right now we're in a little bit more of a closed off space treatment area. We go into the gym space, still flows pretty well, but I'm looking forward to having that flow even better in the new space that we're going to be within as well. I think one of the last lessons too, I would say, being out here in Sherwood Park and having this facility, seeing it when it is, you know, alive with our rehab membership, our sport rehab programs, our OPP. I mean, those are some of the most special times, and we were a little bit limited in our ability to run those here. We had certain times that we could. They weren't always going to be during prime hours, did us sharing the gym with another company, and we worked well with them, but I think at the same time, there was definitely some constraints around that. And being in the gym when there is our sports rehab program in the mix and we have our OPP in the mix, it is such a unique culture that it brings to the table. I think everyone just has such a good time, and really the athletes that are in that space too and coming consistently are honestly the ones that tend to get the best outcomes as well. So I think really seeing that and understanding that, and really just being in that environment and seeing how alive it can be, has made me think about how important that's going to be able to recreate that and really grow that piece of what we offer at the new facility in 99th Street.